I'm calling this book Our Family's Book of Miracles. And I used it the other day to tell some of my great-grandchildren about our family's miracles. The idea for the book came several months ago about putting some of my blog posts from the Alabaster box together into book form for my youngest daughter Melinda's birthday. And her birthday was last week, so I got it done in time, which is unusual. Originally, it was to be about her granddaughter, my great-granddaughter Charlotte's trip through leukemia. She was diagnosed with leukemia when she was 2 years old. This is her daddy, Travis. And I always had my camera with me, and so I took photos, and videos so that one day maybe she could see, if she ever wanted to see, what she went through. Well, we were walking through the hall one day, probably walking down to the recreation room, and Travis sat down with Charlotte, and this was above them, and this is one of my favorite pictures of all time. And it says, "Life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain." And they sure did learn to dance in the rain. All during her treatment down at Children's. The book kind of expanded when I decided to include other miracles in our family. These are pictures I took right after Charlotte's second birthday party. And in less than a week, she was airlifted to the hospital. And a few days later, she was diagnosed with leukemia. So Charlotte was in treatment for several years. And we thank God that she is cancer-free. But the child was like a princess warrior. She just went through it, and she actually helped us get through it. So the other miracles I included, because we have several. This is my nephew Keith, and in May of 2010 he was rushed to the hospital, and there, just by coincidence, there was a group of surgeons together, and if they hadn't been there, Keith would not have made it. So God planned that, to have those surgeons ready when he came in. Keith, his children were all in school at that time, and now he is grandpa. So Keith is one of our miracles. And then we have baby Aiden. This is my youngest sister Jackie's great-grandson Aiden. I don't think he was even a year old at that time. He's 14 now. And playing sports and doing so wonderfully. So Aiden is a family miracle. We have two sets of twins. These are my niece Kirsty's twins, Mackenzie and Riley, and they were in jeopardy, and Kirsty also, while she carried them, but God brought them through, and now they are 9 years old. They are Charlotte's age. And then we have another set of twins that I didn't get into the book. But the one miracle I wanted my great-grandchildren to hear that day, and 5 of her 7 grandchildren were at her little birthday thing we did the other day, and Melinda herself is a miracle. in 1964 when the German measles epidemic ran through the United States. I was pregnant with Melinda, and I got the German measles. And I was about 3 months pregnant, and so for 6 months I didn't know if the German measles were going to affect her or not. We didn't have all the technology then that we have now, and I didn't know. And so for 6 months there was a mystery. But the week before she was born, I asked God to please make her all right, and He did. So here's Melinda when she was small and growing up to grandmahood. On the bottom right down there, we're in Florida. And then this, her with the kids and Christmas at her house, and her 3 boys. So I wouldn't have all of these great-grandchildren, so they're all miracles. So this is the book I used to tell our family's miracle story. And then on the back, I included this, these pictures. These were taken when Charlotte, at her 6th birthday party here. And I think she had been released from treatment. She would have been 4. I think she was in treatment for 4 or 5 years. But here she is. She called me last night to tell me she had made the select volleyball team on the team she wanted. So, thank you, Lord, for all our miracles. So I gathered all the kids together after we'd had Melinda's cake and ice cream, and I said, I'm going to tell you a story. And so here's a video of telling them the story of our miracles. Oh.
That's Cooper.
No.
That's not Cooper. It's Charlotte and Daddy.
This is Charlotte when she was a baby and in the hospital. So I'm going to tell you a story. This is what I call my miracle book. Do you know what a miracle is?
No. Yeah.
What?
It's sing it. Things that aren't real.
No, it's things that are real.
Go get your mama.
It's things that happen that are just really good.
Huh?
So this is my miracle book. And I have got stories in here of miracles of our family. And one of them is Charlotte. And I wrote all these stories when Charlotte was sick and in the hospital. But this is just some of our miracles. We have other miracles in our family. And this was another baby. This was Aiden. He's also a miracle because God healed him too. Because God healed Charlotte. And so this is Aiden, and he was only a year old, and he was very sick too. And God healed him. And then we have another miracle. This is when he was in there in the hospital. See how sick he was? And then these are twins, and they were very sick too, yeah. And so they are now same age as Charlotte. They are 9. And God was with them and healed them too.
Twins.
Kirsty's twins.
Kirsty's.
Oh, that's what I was wondering.
Oh, that's okay.
Oh, sorry,
That's
Kirsty's.
what I that's the other one.
Brylin had a Palmer
So, and these are other stories that I put in this book. This is my.
Is that Grandma?
That's my grandma. That is my grandma. You're going to have to look at this book sometime. And look, this is me when I was a baby. And this is my grandma and me when I was a baby.
But why was me?
Yeah, I was a baby. I was a baby one time.
Hey, I was your baby too.
That was my grandma.
He's one of my, he ain't
She's in heaven waiting for me right now.
Mira's shocked. She was a baby.
When was she a baby?
This is the most shocking thing.
When were you a baby? And then,
I know what you guys are thinking. I'm used to only seeing her in too. I don't believe the story of she was
but
a
then
baby.
let me tell you about another miracle.
Mom.
So we have another miracle,
Cora, come here, babe.
and this miracle happened in 1960. Do you know how long ago that was? That was a long
That
time
was a
ago.
million years
How
ago.
many years ago?
A million.
It was a million years ago. It was 60 million years ago.
Yup.
So this was 1960. And in 1960, there was this disease going all over the United States, and it was the German measles. And when mamas got that when they were, before they had their babies, when they got that disease, it hurt the babies a lot. And so in 1960, see, Melinda, your memo, is my baby girl, believe that or not. And so I was going to have your memo, and I got the measles. And so she could be very sick. But before she was born, I prayed and asked God to make her okay. And he did. And so your mama, Melinda,
I don't know how to read.
what?
I don't know how to read.
How do I know how to read?
I don't believe that part either, brother.
I know. But I do. And I wrote all this. But so Charlotte is one of our miracles, and your mama Melinda is one of our miracles. And so I had all this put into a book so that we can look back on and thank God for all our miracles. See, here's your memo when she was a little girl. You see this? That's her. Look, Charlotte. There she is.
Looked at that and looked at me.
So there she
Looked at me.
And here's,
Sorry,
see
guys.
this, see that right there? You see that high ball she played softball. And she'd go after a high ball. And you see that guy way down there on the baseline?
Yelling.
That is your great-grandpa Wayne Scott. And he's yelling at her for going after that high
So
ball.
that's who was married to Memo.
That was my husband. That was your great-grandpa. If he was alive today, he would be sitting here eating cake and ice cream with you. And he's in heaven waiting for us right now too. So I just wanted to tell you about all our miracles that we have in our family, and that your memo, who is 60 this week, is one of our miracles. So thank you for listening.
You, Mommy? Is you, Mommy?
Well, all of you are my miracles.
How about you?
I'm a miracle too.
Everyone's a miracle. After you, Uncle Jeff. I see. Uncle Bob.
Uncle Rob.
What?
How about you?
Yeah.
Cooper.
And how about you? Kendall.
Kendall, yeah.
It's a miracle I haven't killed him yet.
He's a miracle too.
But look at the.
That's a miracle that I lived over 16.
Don't you remember
When did I
that?
have that? Look how pretty she was.
Oh, no, but
What did I
that's
do?
your 6th birthday.
Yeah, and look at Sissy.
You can turn
She was
Oh, okay.
so